Otro video para tu este es Ron con Recompilers.com, a technical video pertaining to an error I received when I tried to install this software. Point of sales, installation not correct, check your PHP.INI file. The actual full error is the installation is not correct, check your PHP.INI file. I received this error when I tried to install this open source point of sale software, which is free, and hence the name of the software, point of sale and open source. This software requires some technical specifications. You're going to need some kind of a web server, whether it's on a VPS or even local, like you could use LAMP, especially on Linux. In my blog post, I included a link directly to the technicals, actually the installation instructions for the software. So basically the software is point of sale, but it's kind of burp. I mean, sap, crap. I mean, J.D. Edwards' One World was garbage. I mean, I digress back to this technical video. There are some aspects of ERP, but I needed a point of sale system. My part-time computer repair business, I also sell used computers, and I sell some electronics that are used that I get recycled. Every once in a while, I receive customers that request a printed receipt, and when that happens, I just, try to, look the other way, and I'm like, fuck, because I don't print receipts, and I've been in business for years now, and I never had one complaint. Now, I've had a few requests for a printed receipt, but it's very rare. And then whenever my customers pay with credit card, I can either text them a receipt or email them a receipt. This time I decided to finally find some decent point of sale software, and then also I can kill multiple birds with one stone. I don't like to just install one piece of software for just one task, because I don't like to accumulate software, especially on Windows. But this software, I think there is a Windows version. I didn't even waste time trying to fuck with that. That's not why I use Windows machines. I use Windows computers so that I continue to learn about them, so that I can provide support, I can make YouTube videos, and I can make money. If I could not make money with microcrap, microslop, I wouldn't even bother. I can't make enough money supporting Linux, and I can't make enough money yet supporting Macintosh. But I support all three. So I had a request for a receipt. I sold a used computer. I was like, oh, fuck. This time I decided to try to take care of it and be more... I'm not into the political correctness, but just be more, the word professional, whatever. Yeah, receipts sometimes are good, It's just it proves that you bought something. And I do warranty my used computers that I sell. So I found open source point of sale. It's entirely free. It's open source. You can install it yourself, either on a local LAMP server or Windows or version or whatever. And then you can also install it on a virtual private server like I did. However, I stumbled upon this error. The installation went smoothly until I tried to log into the back end with the admin account, and then I received this error. The installation is not correct. Check your PHP.INI file. A quick Google search, and I noticed using pattern recognition that most people were able to resolve this error by installing some missing modules, and I linked directly to the installation instructions for this open source point of sale, and you can go out and check out the requirements, the technical requirements. I'm not going to go over all that. I just want to make this video showing you how to fix this error. I installed one missing module, and that module was PHP-International, which was shortened to PHP-INTL. PHP International is a international module. Now, on screen it's enabled. You're gonna need to learn command line. You need to learn how to install software if you want to administrate your own virtual private server. Yum, PuTTY, SSH, or apt-get. You're going to need to learn. Ignorance is not bliss until you die from a vaccination. That's my motto. What you can do is you can go onto your web server and you can look at your PHP file. Or you can go command line. You can use VI or Emacs and look for the PHP.INI file and view it and see which modules are enabled. The most important thing is that when you look for the module, that you verify it's enabled. Make sure it's enabled. I had to install it. Yum space install space PHP-INTL enter key. It installs, but with PHP, I don't know any other way around it. You have to recompile. You have to rebuild PHP, which when it comes to recompiling, rebuilding, or installing from source, I get very just fidgety and I start sweating because I've had bad experiences with trying to install source software, even on Linux. I don't like that route, but sometimes you have to. Or having to recompile an important component like PHP. If it fucks up, then possibly all my websites cease and desist, which is probably what you would prefer anyways. My critics, those that think I'm a narcissist, well, it's an act. I decided to become the world's largest narcissist. In my opinion, so far, I think I'm doing an excellent job, but maybe I'm not cut out for that type of duty. I don't know. On CentOS Web Control Panel, it's not that difficult. So you install the module, command line. Then you go into your control panel. Now this blog post was written specifically for CentOS Web Control Panel, so I don't want to hear the bullshit. The negativity and the and the trolls and the mental midgets. Oh, that's right. I disable comments on my entire YouTube channel, so I don't have to worry about that. But you could use this video in the blog post as a basis to fix the same error on a different type of virtual private server with a different control panel with a different configuration if you use your brain, potentially. So with Web Control Panel CentOS, you go to PHP to verify it. Go to PHP info to verify that the module is enabled or that it's missing. Then you go to PHP version switcher. These instructions are all in my blog post. Then you want to select now PHP version switcher. You need to be careful. What this will do, it will change the version of PHP that your web server is running. So a caveat, better be careful. If you don't know what you're doing, you could potentially cause your websites, plural or singular, not to work anymore. Well, but for this demonstration, you want to select a PHP version. I'm going to select the same version that's running. Now you're going to see a list. All of these modules are what's available for PHP. The ones with the check box on the left-hand side are enabled. So you scroll down and look for the ones that's missing. In my case, I was only missing one module, international. Internationalization extension further is referred as INTL as a wrapper for ICU library enabling PHP programs to perform various level blah 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 blah. Place a checkbox, then click on build. But I'm not going to click on build because it will recompile, rebuild PHP, and I already rebuilt it. I don't want to rebuild it again because I get really squeamish when it comes to recompiling, rebuilding, or in other words, fucking with the source code. Now, if it's a RPM, that's fine. If it's apt-get install, fine. If it's yum install, fine. That's different. Here is the log file. Another thing you can do is with CentOS Web Control Panel, it linked directly to the log file. And if you are familiar with Linux, you will know the tail command. The tail command will allow you to view a log file real time. If you use tail space F space and then the path to the log file, what that will do is it will show you like the last, I think, 10 lines of the log file in real time. So I was able to monitor the rebuild of the PHP so that that missing module PHP-INTL would be enabled and it will start, and then PHP will use that module. So that's why you have to recompile it. I don't know. I'm not a PHP expert. I don't know of any other way. I don't think there. I wish you could just edit the PHP.INI file, restart the VPS, or restart, the PHP process or whatever. I don't think so. As you can see, the log file just spits out a bunch of information, and it allows you to monitor the rebuild in case it fails or there's any errors. Now you're going to get some false positives. Like I'm not really worried about this. It recommends you may want to add blah 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 to the path. Well, as long as my websites work, I don't worry about those types of possible false positives. If there's something quirky or something wrong, or let's say I had further problems with getting open source point of sale to work, I might look into that. But as you can see at the bottom, it says the PHP rebuild completed, and then I think this is some kind of hashtag, or I don't know, some kind of information at the bottom, which that information matches what's in the info file, the PHP info file. Moving on. That's all you do. It warns you that it could take up to 15 minutes. On my web server, it took about 5 minutes. That's it. Then what I did, I went and I tried to log in again, and guess what? I was able to log in. So thesis, antithesis, synthesis, I had a missing module. All I had to do is install the module, and then I rebuild PHP, and then I was able to log in. And this is free software. It's kind of erpy, burpy, sap crap like, but it's not. It's not. I think technically it might be included as ERP, but it doesn't have all the ERPs, the burps. I'm not a big fan of ERP. JD Edwards One World was garbage, and then SAP Crap bought it, which is a German company. SAP is nothing but crap. And I had to support both JD Edwards One World at a time, and I had to support SAP Crap, and it was crap, and it used to keep me awake at night. Moving on. Now, as you can see, it's got functions of an ERP, but not all of them. But really, I'm killing multiple birds with one stone, because like I said before, I don't like to install one piece of software just for one task unless I absolutely have to, which I just despise doing that, but whatever. I can track customers. I can add items, which is an inventory. You can use this for multiple types of businesses. Retail, I would say most businesses, computer repair, any kind of business. Pizza, liquor store, prostitution, suppliers, if you've got some vendors. It's got reports, receivings. You get shipments. Sales, it tracks sales. Under the sales, it allows you to print a receipt. But see, recently I decided to get a little bit more technical, keep a little bit more records. I don't like the word professional. I'm not politically correct. I like to be different. However, once in a while I do receive requests for printed receipts, but this has been bothering me. I've been needing to get an inventory system. Right now my inventory system is a spreadsheet that I use with LibreOffice Calc. It's just a spreadsheet. Now I'm starting to sell more used computers because I'm getting more recycled computers. I'm starting to receive LCD monitors now, and also I'm starting to accumulate certain items that I part out, like batteries, laptop power supplies, batteries, hard drives, even circuit boards from computers, circuit boards from LCD televisions that you can resell as long as they're here quickly. What I do is, let's say I get an LCD television that doesn't work or has a cracked screen. Well, chances are I can't order the screen, or it would be so expensive to ship it to me, or the part itself would be so expensive that I couldn't make a profit. Well, what I could do is I could part out that LCD. I could sell the circuit boards inside, the backlight board, it goes on and on and on, power board, and then I can sell those on eBay. Well, I'm starting to accumulate items and I need to inventory them, so I can inventory them in this system. I can also print receipts. I don't think it has a ticket system. So recently I needed 3 items: a ticketing system to keep track of my customers. I'm a computer repair, part-time. Well, I need to track that. It just makes life easier to be able to just add notes and then in the abstract. Sometimes technology can actually waste more time, but whatever. This I don't think has a ticketing system, but it kills 2 of the 3 stones. And so that's my video. That's the solution. Now, like I stipulated at the beginning, this is only a possible fix. Are you getting this error? It could be that you're just missing one of the modules. So go ahead and make sure that all the modules that were stipulated in the instructions for open source point of sale are installed. If they're missing, install them. But when it comes to PHP, you have to enable the module. You have to tell PHP that now you can go in the PHP.INI file, but I don't think that's sufficient enough. I think you have to recompile. I could be wrong about that, but when I searched on how to enable a module for PHP on CentOS Web Control Panel, that's what the solution was. Anything further? I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So you're going to need PHP to install the software. You're going to need a database like MySQL or Postgres. You're going to need a web server software like Apache or Nginx. You're going to need to install all the PHP modules that it recommends. Then you upload the files to your server. Then you have to edit one of the config files. You have to set it. Then you need to create a database, and then you have to add the database name, the database username, the database password in a config file, and then that was it. It went smoothly except for the error. So sometimes it's really not that difficult when you learn. When you learn on your own, sometimes it's not that difficult to solve problems. And I've solved multiple problems now. I think this software so far, I've played around with it, no major bugs. It looks nice too. You know what I'm saying? Not that that's important. I don't really worry about the aesthetics. Chances are I'm not going to enable any of this on the front end for the public. This will be just private for me. But it allows me to track inventory. I don't need to use a spreadsheet anymore. You can even import. I might be able to import all of my existing inventory into this. And then I will be able to print receipts. If I do get a request, I think you can accept money with it. Oh, invoices. There's another one. Now, right now I use PayPal invoices. You understand as a business owner where you got all these problems, and then if you're not wealthy, or I learn a lot. I could have spent money, but I learn a lot. I learned how to install this. I learned how to fix it. I learned something new today. But when you run a business, you run into these problems. You're like, oh, well, I need this software. I need a ticketing system. Well, I need to track inventory. Well, I need to be able to print a receipt once in a while. Well, I need, this. Or invoices. I need to invoice. Because believe it or not, yes, some of my customers, usually they're corporate. It's always a corporate customer. Some of the corporate customers request an invoice when I show up on site. I'm like, fuck. Well, I solved that problem with PayPal, but I don't know. I think I might need to stop using PayPal. And although I don't have any complaints about PayPal. Did you know that you can create invoices with PayPal? I've never had. Nobody laughed at me. Nobody frowned upon. And it will email them. It will email them a PDF. However, this system allows you to create invoices, and I think it allows you to email them. So I'm just saying. And so as a small business owner, oh my God, all of a sudden, yeah, you need this and you need that. If you have to have a single piece of software for each task, I mean, pretty soon you're running a Windows machine, a micro crap window, Microsoft computer, and it's got all this software, and it takes up 4 terabytes, and then all of a sudden Microsoft releases an update and it fries your computer. Or like Malwarebytes deserves what they get. Fuck Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes deserves what happened to them a couple weeks ago. One of their updates caused people's computers to crash, freeze, reboot, and no longer work. Well, Malwarebytes, those motherfuckers censored me. And they filed a false DMCA copyright claim. And they broke the law. You know why? Because they did not have a copyright. A DMCA is supposed to require a judge to intervene. A judge is supposed to decide whether or not somebody infringed copyright. Well, YouTube and Malwarebytes conspired and pulled one of my Malwarebytes video. That's why I fucking can't stand Malwarebytes, and that's why I do not recommend their garbage software, and that's why I don't recommend them, and that's why I don't sell as an affiliate, and that's why I don't upsell them to any of my customers, and that's why I pulled all my Malwarebytes on my website. But I believe in natural karma, because if you notice, a few weeks ago Malwarebytes suffered the consequences, and they were just as stingy to their customers. They didn't even provide a phone number. But suffer that consequences. Natural karma. Malwarebytes deserves everything what they're going through. Just because it's not public, just because the big YouTube shills aren't talking about the fact that Malwarebytes just released an update that just fucked all your software. So I know I digressed. But it does deal with, as a business owner, having to solve problems. I mean, can you imagine you have this computer with all these different pieces of software so that you can create invoices, print receipts, take credit cards. This will also accept payments. You can accept credit cards with this, I think. Accept money, invoices, inventory, and then all of a sudden Malwarebytes releases an update and that machine doesn't even boot. Well, you're out of business. You're shut down for the day. Well, hopefully Malwarebytes will get shut down forever. Adios.